from this, you have like, here's all of your listings. You can transition to the listings you're a buyer's agent on. You can transition to the listings you're selling. You can choose to say, seller gets the offer exact same time that I do. Or you can choose to say, oh, let me review this real quick, and then boom, hit a button, submits it to your sellers then. So traditional real estate offer looks a lot like this, right? You guys have all processed offers, but essentially high level, there's 7 steps. Buyer likes a house, buyer agent creates the offer. In Ohio, we don't have standard documents, so each agency might have a little different documents. Buyer's agent submits the offer to the listing agent, right? Number 4, listing agent reviews the offer. Number 5, listing agent presents the offer to the seller. Seller reviews, responds, there's different edits, modifications, communications throughout the way, and then buyer reviews and ultimately responds or accepts the offer. So this has worked for many, many years. There's some efficiencies in here, so that's essentially what we're going to talk about. Where can we maximize through this process? The interesting thing is, an unfortunate thing is, that 32% of sellers report poor communication from their agent.
That seems low.
It does.
Yeah.
However, what's interesting is that, if you sell 10 houses this year, right, 3 of the 10 people are not going to like it. Or they're going to say, hey, I didn't have a good relationship with my agent. All those skills you might have mastered perfectly. The busiest agents have a very hard time keeping up with communication, making everybody happy, right? It's difficult. We know this. So traditional offer process. Again, we're looking at this. There's a lack of efficiency. There's a lack of wow factor for agents, for the clients, and there's some missing competitive edge. So if we break these down a little bit, what are some of the lack of efficiencies? So it's hours, 3 to 5 hours spent per offer. 80% of offers are received on nights and weekends, right? This could also be another pop quiz, but like, when do you guys think the number 1 day for receiving offers is?
Sunday.
Who said that first?
Yeah.
There we go. Sundays,
Right.
right?
A good Sunday, I think.
Did you have a good Sunday? I did.
Yeah.
So Sundays, number 1 day, number 2 day. No, not for Starbucks. Friday.
Saturday.
Monday. Yes, Monday.
Because they're getting it.
Yeah, get it going. Showings. Offers do come in on Saturdays. Offers come in on Sundays. Offers come in Mondays. So Sundays and Mondays are the number 1 and number 2 days. So when does that mean you're working?
All those hours.
Nights and weekends, right? It's just hey, how come people can't submit offers Monday through Friday? That 9 to 3 window or whatever, right? Multiple offers. That's single offers. Multiple offers get crazy. Yeah. Who spends like days? Actually, believe it or not, that's how Kayla and I met. Is she spent 2.5 days working on 20 plus offers on a property in Cleveland, and we happened to cross paths, and she's like, where were you like 5 days ago? Right? I needed this. And so it's crazy, right? So you guys have all experienced it. And best agents struggle with this, and then easy to miss contract details. So there are some efficiencies we gain. Lack of wow factor, we talked about this, 32% of sellers are not satisfied with their agent. So they're not like getting this great experience. Sellers lack trust and transparency. Me having sold 30 homes in my life, right? There is a lack of transparency. Something's happening behind the curtain that us as sellers are like, hey, what's happening back there? Agent communication, something's happening. I don't quite fully understand. But there is something there. So missing competitive edge, referrals. If you think about your business, the number 1 lead source, according to NAR, 40 to 70% of your business is past customer referrals, right? So if we're not having a phenomenal client experience and 3 out of 10 people don't like us, well, I say that harshly, but 3 out of 10 people didn't have a great experience, are they going to give us their referrals? Probably not. So how much are we losing from not getting those referrals? Separating yourself from the competition. So, you might see on the Zillow profile, I'll work hard for my clients, right? Is that a differentiator? I'll work hard because every one of you work super hard, right? So it's hard to separate yourself based on saying, hey, I work harder, right? So That's one thing. It's hard to scale a business. If I sell 10 houses and if I sell 10 houses and I want to sell 20, it's hard to scale if you don't have efficiency in that, right? So you can either hire people or, in essence, you leverage technology. So here's what's interesting. We've all talked about this, heard about this. You got Netflix, you got Blockbuster. Blockbuster, does anybody not know what Blockbuster is in this room? I think everybody knows who Blockbuster is. But this used to be our weekends as a family. You go to the Blockbuster, grab a couple VHS tapes. Yeah, the good old days, right? So, but the interesting thing is, like, Blockbuster doesn't exist anymore, but we all watch movies, okay? So, similarly in real estate, the offer process is going away. Agents aren't going away, okay? There's still offers going to be made, but the way people watch movies, the way people make offers is going to change, right? So we can either be with it, we're on that curve, right? Adopting technology, so kind of on the front runners, or, the bell curve where everybody's doing it, or on the back end where you're a late adopter. But the way real estate is being is different. So, all right, here we go. Have any of you missed submitting an offer? Any of you missed submitting an offer? You have an offer and accidentally forgot to present it.
Nobody's going to admit to it.
I tell you what, here's the interesting thing is nobody will admit to it, but let me ask this question. How many of you have experienced a listing agent not presenting your offer? Yes. I'm shocked that only one person actually raised their hand. I think everybody is probably going to raise their hand. Isn't that interesting? None of us have ever done it, but all of us think every agent has done it, right? So that's probably the better question. Statistically, and again, this is bogus, but 5% of offers never get presented. 5%. But I think it's probably closer to like 20, right? If people were actually admitted. So who said 5%? Somebody say that? Who said it? Just somebody raise their hand. Who was that? What's a gift card to Starbucks? How about that? So there we go. There we go. Okay, so just remember that, right? So we've never done it, right? But other people have probably done it to us. So real quick, we'll dive in for the actual live demo. Here's how offers are handled in OfferIn way. So, or any technology essentially is going to handle this thing, but OfferIn, we believe, is a competitive edge to what exists out there. But buyer still likes the house, buyer still creates an offer and submits it. So what happens in OfferIn, the buyer's agent submits the offer into your portal. Okay, so you don't get it in email or get a loop or get a text or get a voicemail. It all goes to one place. All right. So the buyer's agent puts the offer into your portal for you and your client. That the listing agent and the seller review. So this can be an automatic thing. So as an offer gets dumped in, you get a text message that says, "Hey, you just got an offer." Guess what? The buyer's agent also gets a text message that says, "Hey, your offer is submitted." So from the buyer's agent's perspective, they're like, "Oh, this is awesome. I got confirmation that my offer went through." There's no more question of did they submit it, did they not submit it. So the listing agent then has the information in the portal. Say we get an EXP contract, we get a Keller Williams contract, we get I don't know if you guys have a different contract or not. All of you guys submit offers. Well, they're potentially different purchase agreements, right? Well, that gets deciphered into, automatically, by the way, into one consistent format. So the seller can also get it. Now, you can choose to say, seller gets the offer exact same time that I do, or you can choose to say, oh, let me review this real quick, and then boom, hit a button, submits it to your sellers. Then I think what we're seeing is most people, when they first start using the product, they're like, oh, well, let me check this first to make sure this is legit. And then once you get a few offers rolling through, you're like, hey, I actually, I've never made an edit to an offer, so let me just send that to the client at the same time I'm getting. So anyway, that happens automatically for you on your behalf. And then side by side, seller side reviews, response, so that's all done inside the portal. Any edits are all done through the portal. Counter offers done through the portal. Communications happen there. Again, text message, emails happen immediately to all parties. So you don't have to go searching through 60, especially in a multiple offer situation. It takes 2.5 days. You got 100 emails or whatever it is, right? So, all right, cool. This weekend, which is really interesting, we saved Northeast Ohio agents, 945 hours of administrative time.
Wow.
By using this just this weekend. So when you calculate that to money, what does that look like, right? Or time efficiency?
So, quick question, I might be jumping ahead, but if you have 20 offers,
Yeah.
you gotta notify 19 people they didn't get it.
Sure.
Does this portal do that?
Yep. Yeah, so you basically just say, select all, email, and then you have a template in there that you can say, hey, thanks, but no thanks.
It's very similar, Mike, to showing time, and you can send out a notification through there.
But if you can actually, like he said, come up with your own email, because showing time, you can put the little blurb in there, but sometimes you have agents with showing time who opted out of notification.
Exactly.
Then they get pissed off when they said, you never let me know.
I didn't see it.
Yeah,
And then, so this removes that with the email solution.
that's awesome.
Yeah, I like that too.
So as of today, this is a web-based app. So someone has to log into a website. It's not an actual app on your phone yet, right? Web-based app, so they go to the website, they have it all there. So you would actually, in that case, that agent would get an email and text message saying, hey, check your email. So that agent would get that. They don't have to like be inside the app and a notification pops up. It's actually outside the app. Well, they would get that email that says that. Yeah, we can take a look at that here in just a minute. So here's just a case study. List price $1.25 billion. Listing agent commission $26,000. Buyer's agent $25,000. This is from the perspective of a seller. Their agent was using OfferIn. Friday, the listing goes live. Friday through Sunday, 13 showings. Saturday, 2 offers. Sunday, 3 offers. Monday, 1 offer. Monday, the agent navigated the client, and they selected one of the 6 offers. The client received text messages and emails all weekend. The client had side-by-side comparisons, net returns in hand. No effort from the agent. And right now, that client has referred 5 people and counting. So this case study is my personal story. So this is my wife, my home. This we were selling our home, and we were using this product. Ironically, our agent was hiking in Colorado the whole weekend. We got a few texts from him that said, hey, offer, that's amazing. Congratulations, sit tight. Wow, this is great. Another one should be coming, right? So he just kind of pumped up the situation. We were managed by the software. The software managed us all weekend long. And we didn't know that he was 6, 7 states away, hiking with his wife. And so, like, what's interesting, the offers came in, like, this is another crazy thing, but at 8 o'clock at night, right? The offer comes in at 8. I'm looking at the times. 11:30, there's an edited offer at 12:45. 1:12, there's another, 1:12 p.m., 7:58 p.m., 8:07 p.m., 10:03 a.m. So anyway, these offers are coming in different times, again, majority of them in the evenings. My wife and I sat down on Sunday night, and we cracked open the portal. So we had a crazy busy weekend, right? We sit down Sunday night, and we're in bed looking at the laptop of the 5 of the 6 offers, and just blown away. Again, this is sold. Took at that point 29 houses. So, yeah.
So it's really more of a communication tool, because we're not going to be in multiple offer situations forever.
Not always,
eventually, it's going to straighten out.
Yeah. So this is amazing. For one offer, it's like less about you for one offer. It's more about the client experience. Yeah. Multiple offers, it's all about you. Right? Managing your time, fish all that kind of stuff. But one offer is that wow experience for them when you're engaged. You're managing your own time and also their time. So that was my experience. Here's a few other folks. These are a couple clients. These are one of our clients exactly from a brokerage down in Akron. I tried to block out John's name, but anyway, they're super professional, friendly, and it is so easy and painless to sell our home. I like that they took an analytical approach to providing comparable offers and also bring a techie feel to selling a home via text and easy-to-use app and regular face-to-face communication and phone calls. I highly recommend it. Courtney said, this is our 3rd experience of selling a home and by far the easiest transaction we've ever had. Everything was simple, clearly laid out in a really cool app, no surprises. This brokerage, office manager, transaction coordinator, we realized our clients not only loved it, but they deserved it. The best part was our agents felt less stressed too. Now it's interesting, I'm talking to Tina, she said that as office manager, she would get a text message or an offer would come in over the weekend and she would actually be frustrated, mad. It's like, oh, it's disrupting my weekend. I know I got to do this on Monday. But now, on the flip side, she said once they transitioned to OfferIn, it was more like, great, awesome, like knowing that it was all handled already, right? So she looks forward to offers with excitement. So real quick, before we dive in for a live demo, improved efficiencies, better client experiences, and competitive advantage is what we're talking about. So you're saying, hey, this is pretty much a communication forward. Yes. What OfferIn, if you boil this whole thing down, what it does really, really well, it communicates really well and receives offers really well. Okay, so helps organize that so you guys can focus on what matters most to you. Yes.
So are you able to put in a name and then copy somebody else? Does it allow you to do that?
Absolutely.
Like your admin?
Yep, 100%. Yep, so we'll dive into like a live demo. If you guys wanted to, there's a couple, excuse me, let me back up here for you. This is inside the app. This is essentially what it looks like. Hopefully this is large enough so everybody can see. If you're looking at, this is kind of where the heart of the app is, right? Where you're going to be spending most of your time. Think of it as a listing agent. It's fantastic for a buyer's agent, but think of it from a listing perspective. This is where those that have, that are listing agents are probably going to have the most advantage of this. On the buy side, you just know that your offer is submitted correctly, that side. From this, you have here's all of your listings. You can transition to the listings you're a buyer's agent on. You can transition to the listings you're selling. Okay, so we can look at this from a couple different perspectives. I don't know how you guys want us to guide it, but you can look at it from submitting an offer. What does that look like? You can look, as a buyer's agent, you can look at it and say, hey, I'm a listing agent. What does this look like? And then you can also look at it from the client perspective. So if you're submitting an offer, you're going to get a unique URL. When a listing agent creates their listing, which takes about 30 seconds, okay? So you basically just, we could even show what this looks like real quick. Yeah, I don't think this is big enough for everybody to see.
Well, I just want to jump in and say that is the platform. Like, that's it. That one page is, and I made this point to Darren because I know he doesn't understand, but like the blue for me kind of familiarizes it with dot loop and makes me feel like I'm still in that system. I don't know if any of you guys got that, but Darren, don't change that color, please.
Okay, we'll keep that color.
Thank you.
So real quick, you just have, the property active, when's it active or pending or whatever your status is, the address of the property, quick thumbnail photo, not the whole file. This is where the power of the system is really cool when you're creating a listing. So this toggle right here automatically sends the seller's offers, edits, and counter offers, okay? So you're gonna put the seller's information right here. You can add a second seller, a third seller, whatever. So when you're creating that listing, if you don't have this toggle right here, that just comes to you. You get to review it, and then you press a button that sends it to them, okay? But if this is toggled, that means they get it the exact same time you get it, all right? This is a conversation that doesn't happen at offers. This happens at your listing appointment, right? So saying, hey, have I told you about our offer delivery system? Here's what I'm going to promise to you. This is your differentiator, right? We use the latest technology. You're in the loop at the same time I am. So when I get an offer, you actually get an offer at the exact same time. Now what that does, that puts you and your seller on the same page. So it's no longer like, well, you're standing in the way of them getting offers. It's like, no, we're in this together. So in a couple of weeks, if the house isn't selling, you can come back to them and say, hey, let's take a look at the price, right? We haven't gotten activity, or we've got a whole bunch of showings, but no offers yet. There's something going on. We're on this together, right? So you don't have to text me anymore at 10 o'clock on Saturday night asking me if any offers came through, right? You're going to know the same time I am. So it helps manage that relationship and saves you time, right? OfferIn is all about the ball game. OfferIn is all about cheer. Again, like I said in my own. So you're creating a listing. You put that information in there. Have you ever sold like a estate property where you have multiple? Yeah, for sure. So you can add a whole bunch of people, including the attorney in here, right? The attorneys love it. I just actually had a meeting this morning in Medina with a wealth advisory estate team that wants to use this. because it helps them close faster because they're able to communicate with everybody, the parties, with the click of a button, right? So that's an advantage for you guys. On the marketplace listing agent, this example is me. Your commissions. Why would it have commissions? This is the buy-side commissions. There's default ones in here, or you can create your own in here. But why would we have commissions and title and escrow in here?
There you go.
Yeah, that sheet.
Let's give her a Starbucks gift card.
Yeah.
Good job.
So what this does, it actually, when a seller receives an offer, it automatically calculates the net proceeds for you. You don't, Jennifer in the room, you don't have to call Infinity and say, hey, can you do this? Now, does not include estimated mortgage in there, right, or payoffs and estimated taxes and that.
Yes, still have to get that, but in the drop down, Darren, you can show the drop down.
In this example, we're going to choose a bit.
Yeah, but here's some of the other title companies that are also using the system, and so those are also already in there for you. But if you're using a different title company that is not in the system, you can call the title company or reach out to an escrow officer, get a fee sheet, and then Darren can input that in there for you. So don't worry about that.
So this is creating a listing. Typically, we elaborated on it, but it takes about 30 seconds, right? As long as you have the picture. That's probably the hardest part, is actually having a picture of the property handy.
Yeah.
But yeah, just throw the address, picture, who the sellers are, and then your commissions and your title escrow fees. So why this is important, because once you create a listing, it's gonna I don't know why this is doing this, guys, sorry. There we go, okay. So this is like, once a listing's created, let's pretend we did that real quick. This right here is probably your most important link. So this is the link that you're gonna put on your broker notes, okay? So you copy that, and on your broker notes saying, hey, submit offers here. We have a little template that you can use to actually saying, hey, we use, OfferIn, or we use an offer delivery portal. And so Kayla can walk through what that might look like on the MLS. So once you create your listing, it creates this unique URL. That URL then goes on the MLS broker notes, and so buyers agents submit offers directly to that link. Okay? Does that make sense? Questions? Thoughts? Is this dumb?
No.
Is this helpful? Yeah. Okay, great. So,
Question?
yes.
There's a question right
I
there.
have one question.
Yeah.
For us, we speak a second language, and then a lot of our clients take up our time because of that. There's a lot of hand movement. Are there different language options?
¿Hablan español? Sí, ok. Perfecto. Podemos hacerlo en español también.
Es español, no.
Ahora mismo sí, podemos hacerlo solamente en español. But, no, so we can't. You can build those things out, right? From a translation perspective, I think that's wonderful. I think that's exactly where we want to take this. Is not just that language. We spend a lot of time, our family spends a lot of time in other places. So the Dominican Republic, Mexico, Puerto Rico, for different reasons. But so I would love to see that in those places as well, because it is very impactful. So yes, we can talk about that. That's a great question.
I wanted to make a note really quick, because we were talking about, he brought up in his, your listing presentation or consultations when you go on them. I have added a slide to my listing presentation, which I did bring a copy. I'm more than happy to pass that around so you guys can get a look at that. But I just reached out to Darren and I said, hey, I wanted to add this OfferIn system to my consultation when I'm talking to my sellers. Can you make a quick little PDF for me? Absolutely. Shot it over. I added it. And it reminds me to go over it because we have a million little things that we have to remember, and it's difficult to remember all those things when we're on the spot. So when it's in there, you don't have to think about it. You just automatically bring it up. Because before that, when I started talking about it, I realized that it was a thing that I never really went over with sellers because it wasn't a common thing that they would bring up. Or do you get that question now? Like I would like some feedback from you. Like, do you get questions from your sellers on what that process looks like, or do you kind of run into it when you get there? Yeah.
So a lot of times when we're talking to them at the listing, I will talk to them, there's certain places that are perfect for talking to them, what's gonna happen when you get an offer.
Okay.
And so when that happens, that's when that would be the perfect time to, bring this up. And say,
Totally.
unlike many companies, you get all these offers, and you don't have anything to